Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are going into the last month of 2023. Isn't that something? This year just flew by, and I'm excited to get into this pre-weeks analysis. Before I do so, let me give a quick disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Anything that I share during this analysis is for educational purposes only. I repeat, this is not financial advice. Anything that I share during this analysis is for educational purposes only. Cool beans? Cool beans. Well, like I said, this is the last trading week of November 2023, going into the last month of 2023. So I'm about to go ahead and jump into this week's pre-week analysis. So I hope you got your pen and pads because we're about to jump into it. Let's go. So looking at this upcoming week and looking back over the previous weeks, we see that we've basically been trending down since the 1st of November, since the 1st of this month. We've just been trending down. First leg here, pull back, second leg here, pull back, third leg here, pull back. If we continue this trend, then where is price going? Price is going to continue to sell off, right? Where is our target, right? Our target is this nets, sell side liquidity, daily sell side liquidity, right here with these relative equal lows, right? So let me outline those relative equal lows for you. Boom, boom, right? We see those relative equal lows, right? Then our second point of interest would be these relative equal lows right here, right? And what do we have that sits right below these relative equal lows? We have a weekly fair value gap that I have shaded in this blue rectangle, right? So ultimately, that's where I have price going, right? Now, if we see price pull back above these daily PD array levels, right? In this weekly volume imbalance that price sold through last week and closed below last week, I will expect price to run that weekly buy side liquidity, right? And then I would need to see how price reacted to that weekly buy side liquidity. If we broke above it aggressively and closed above it as well, then I would expect price to then reach up for the weekly PD arrays that we see from the week of November the 14th, right? But in order for us to get up there, we would have to break above this weekly buy side liquidity aggressively and not only break above it, but we would need to close above it as well. So if we just break above it, right, but close below it, and that break above creates a wick, that's not enough confirmation for me to then switch my bias to bullish for the dollar. I would need to not only see a break above it, an aggressive break above it, but also a close above it. And then that would be the confirmation that I needed to see in order for me to change my bias to bullish, targeting these premium weekly discount array, premium PD array levels that we see here, right? But ultimately, my bias for dollar going forward for this week and for the rest of December will be to the downside. And like I said, ultimately, I would like to see this weekly fair value gap ran right here, right? So take you to the weekly time frame for a second. And we can see this weekly fair value gap here, right? And that's what I will be targeting for the month of December. So going back to the daily, I would like to see us open up and if we open up with a gap to the upside, that's cool. If we do, I would like to see us run up into this daily PD array, right? But not close above it, right? And continue lower. If we open with a gap to the downside, then I don't want to see that. I would like to see us open with a gap to the upside, right? And that gap to the upside, I would like to see price spike up, run the 62 daily premium array, right? I don't care to see it run that 79% level. I would like to see us just run that 62%, right? Along with that consequent encroachment of that fair value gap, but close below both of those levels and continue down for the rest of the week. So that's what I'm calling for DXY to open up doing this week. If we open to the downside, then I will just be on the sidelines watching to see what price is going to do. Because typically, if we open with a gap to the downside, prices will push up to close up that gap, right? But I don't know whether price is going to close that gap and keep pushing up or close that gap and continue to the downside, right? What I would like to see is a gap to the up, opening gap to the upside, running that 62% daily premium array, and then a continuation to the downside, right? Or just a flat out open and with no gap, right? And just price continue to sell off, right? Because we've already had a pullback here with Tuesday and Wednesday's price action from last week, right? So I would love to see us just open up and continue to sell off or open up with a gap to the upside to run the premium PD array 62% level and continue to the downside. So that's what I'm looking for out of the dollar to start the week. Let's look at currencies. Now, you know, if I'm bearish for the rest of the year for the dollar, then you know I'm bullish for the rest of the year for currency, right? So it's just the opposite of what I want to see for the dollar. I would expect us to target these relative equal highs that we see here that sits below this fair value gap on the daily time frame. And that's what I expect Euro USD to target this month. So basically, this should be according to my analysis, this should be a bullish month for Euro USD, right? Targeting these relative equal highs, right? I do not want to see price break and close below this swing low, right? I would like to see us stay above this swing low. I really don't even want to see price break below the daily discount PD array levels here, right? I would like to see us come down into these levels, retest them, and push up off of them aggressively, right? So that's what I'm expecting out of Euro USD. Now, if that doesn't happen and we do break below this swing low, then I would just start targeting sell side liquidities to the downside and this weekly discount array level, these weekly discount array levels from the previous week, from the week of November the 14th, should I say. Same thing, just in reverse from the dollar. So That's what I'm expecting out of Euro USD. Let's look at the pound. Same thing. I'm expecting the pound to run these relative equal highs right here that we see. 1, 2, 3. That sits inside of this daily fair value gap. We can ultimately see price pull up into this daily fair value gap that we see here. So that's what I'm expecting out of the pound for this month and opening up this week. If we do open with a gap to the downside, right, then I would like to see, let's just pull down into these PD array levels before pushing back up to close that gap up and continue into the upside. So that's what I'm expecting out of pound. Looking at NZD USD, same thing. I told you guys that once we broke above this weekly fair value gap aggressively and closed above it as well, which we see right here, right? Because from September, we had all these attempts to get above this fair value gap, right? But we never did. We never did until Friday of last week. Got above it aggressively and closed above it. So with this week, I anticipate a pullback down into the daily discount levels of Friday's price range, right? But I would like to see price react to those levels aggressively, right? I would like to see some smart money reversals set up off of those levels, right? Off of the discount array levels. And I would like to see NZD USD continue to the upside for the bullish continuation, targeting these relative equal highs here, here, and these relative equal highs here are very clean, and I ultimately want to see us reach up in there by the end of the year. So from where price is currently at up into that fair value gap is about 300 to, if we get above it, 375 pips, almost 400 pips to close out the year. So that is what I'm expecting out of currencies to close out the year. That's what I'm looking at. Those are my points of interest. Let's take a look at futures. E-mini S&P 500 futures. I'm expecting us to close the month bullish. I would like to see S&P 500 reach up into this daily volume imbalance, right? That's what I'm expecting. We see these relative equal highs right here, right? So we know that there's a large amount of liquidity sitting above these relative equal highs, right? And then we see this daily volume imbalance, which we know that the market is going to be drawn towards that imbalance in the market, especially being that it's a high time frame volume imbalance, right? So that's what I'm expecting. Now I will allow for price to pull back down into the discount levels of last Wednesday's price action, which is this level here, right? But I do not want to see price break and close below consequent encroachment of these two discount levels, right? And consequent encroachment is this yellow line in the middle. That's the 50% mark of this space or area, should I say, right? So I do not want to see price break below and close below. Now it could wick below, but as long as price doesn't close below consequent encroachment of this area, then that will make me remain bullish and my bias for S&P to continue to the upside, right? If we do break and close below that consequent encroachment, then I look for price to come back down into the weekly discount levels from last week's price action. Simple as that. Simple as that. So looking at Dow, I don't really look at Dow like that, but it's one of the futures that some of you guys may trade. A lot of you guys trade U30 in indices. Um, so I've been trading futures for all of this year. Really, I haven't really traded indices. So um, just looking at Dow, it's basically the same thing that I'm expecting out of S&P 500, right? I expect us to pull up into this um, daily fair value gap, right? And we do have a daily volume imbalance here. I just didn't mark it. I can mark it now for you guys. Right, there we go. And those are my 2 point of interest for E-mini Dow futures. I would like to see us reach both of those levels by year's end. So that's what I'm expecting. I don't want to see us break back below the weekly discount levels. If we do, I will expect E-mini Dow to pull back down into this giant imbalance that we see right here from where November the 14th. Again, same as the dollar, um, just vice versa. So that being said, moving on to E-mini Nasdaq 100, and basically, I want to see the same thing. Um, we've already ran through this volume imbalance, daily volume imbalance for NQ, right? Broke above it, and we have remained above it, respected it. So I would like to see us open up and pop up for um E-mini Dow. E-mini Nasdaq 100. I would like to see us open up and push up. I would like to see this all-time high taken out for Nasdaq 100. Um, and close the year making new all-time highs. That's what I'm expecting out of E-mini Nasdaq. Now, I don't want to see us break and close below these weekly discount levels, right? If we do, I would expect price to reach down into what? November the 14th. Again, this giant imbalance that we got in price right here from November the 14th, right? I would expect us, if we break and close below the weekly discount levels, I would expect us to pull down into this uh busy buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency in the form of this daily giant fair value gap that we have. So that will conclude the pre-week analysis. As always, if these reviews are adding any value to your lives, to your trading journey, to your trading career, please feel free to like, share, and most of all, subscribe. It really helps out a lot, guys. Also, I am always open to constructive criticism, anything that you may want to add in the comment section on how I might be able to improve my channel, improve my analysis, any tips that you guys may have for me. I am open to all positive constructive criticism. Please feel free to leave it in the comments, please. My website is under construction right now. It will be up. We're doing some redesigning for the new year. However, if you would like to join my private Telegram group, you can DM me on Twitter, Pips LLC 1, and I will send you the link to join the private Telegram community. So, with that being said, I appreciate you guys coming out, tuning in, getting this knowledge and empowering yourselves. Let your family and friends know you love them while they still here. Please. And as always, peace and love, everybody. You know.